If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns entered last week's matchup against the Baltimore Ravens with a lot on their plate. But nothing prepared the fans for the gut punch that came not from the scoreboard, but from the sideline. Dillon Gabriel, the rookie quarterback who had been steadily carving out a role in Cleveland's offense, suffered a concussion that abruptly ended his night and left a city holding its collective breath up until that moment. Gabriel had been showing flashes of the kind of poise and skill the Browns had hoped for when they handed him the reins in the middle of a season that has been far from smooth. With a 16-10 lead in hand, Gabriel's exit felt like a turning point, and sure enough, the Ravens capitalized on the opportunity, eventually taking the game 23-16. It was a loss that stings on multiple levels, not just the scoreboard, but the uncertainty that now surrounds the quarterback position heading into Week 12. As the Browns turn their attention to the Las Vegas Raiders, the most pressing question is clear: who will start under center? Dillon Gabriel, still recovering from his concussion, is a big if for this weekend. The rookie has shown promise, but concussions are not something you rush through, and the NFL's heightened awareness around head injuries means the Browns won't take any unnecessary risks. If Gabriel is cleared after practice, fans will breathe a sigh of relief. If he isn't, however, SHEDEUR Sanders, who stepped in against the Ravens, could be making his first NFL start. This is a crucial moment not just for the team, but for the trajectory of its quarterback room moving forward. Looking at Gabriel's season so far, the numbers tell a story of cautious optimism. He has completed 59% of his passes for 937 yards, throwing 7 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions in the 6 games he's started. Out of the 8 appearances he's made on the ground, he's added an additional 86 yards, showing mobility that makes him a dual threat in the Browns' offense. These numbers are respectable for a rookie navigating a complex offense and a team still searching for stability at the most important position on the field. Yet, numbers only tell part of the story. The reality is that this concussion introduces a level of unpredictability that the team and fans can't ignore. The situation in Cleveland isn't unique in the NFL this season. Quarterbacks across the league have had to deal with concussions, underscoring just how careful teams need to be. New York Giants starter Jackson Dart is currently in concussion protocol, sidelined for Week 11. Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud has missed the last 2 games with a similar issue. And even the New York Jets' Justin Fields has had to miss time due to a concussion. The trend is clear. Teams are no longer taking chances, and rightfully so. The league has invested heavily in protocols to protect players, especially quarterbacks, because the long-term risks of head injuries are significant. Cleveland's coaching staff will be watching Gabriel closely at the first practice of the week. In the NFL, the first practice after a concussion often sets the tone for whether a player can realistically return. For a rookie like Gabriel, missing practice could very likely mean missing the game entirely. The Browns can't risk rushing him back. They have to prioritize his health over a single matchup, no matter how tempting it is to throw him back into the lineup against the Raiders. On the flip side, this scenario opens a window for Sanders to showcase what he can do with a full game under his belt. It's a low-pressure opportunity in the grand scheme, but a potentially career-defining moment for the backup quarterback. It's not just about Week 12 for the Browns. The decision around Gabriel and Sanders feeds into a larger narrative about the team's future. If Gabriel is healthy and ready, he gives the Browns a chance to stabilize a season that has been uneven at best. But if Sanders proves capable in a starting role, the Browns suddenly have a legitimate option at quarterback, one that could shift the balance of power within the division. Fans should brace themselves for a cautious approach from the organization, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't watch closely. These next few games could reveal whether Cleveland has a franchise quarterback in Gabriel, a rising star in Sanders, or a more complicated puzzle that will require careful navigation in the seasons to come. The Browns fan base has endured a roller coaster of hope, frustration, and anticipation this year, and Gabriel's concussion adds another layer to that emotional mix. It's hard not to feel for the young quarterback, who has shown the tools to succeed but now faces the mental and physical hurdles that come with a head injury. The organization's medical staff, coaching staff, and front office are all in the spotlight here, tasked with balancing competitive drive against the very real need to protect their players' long-term health. In a league where quarterbacks are often the focal point of a team's identity, every decision about their availability carries weight far beyond a single game. Meanwhile, for SHEDEUR Sanders, this could be the chance of a lifetime, stepping in against the Ravens. He showed enough to make fans sit up and take notice. But the true test will come if he starts against the Raiders. Can he manage the offense, handle pressure, and lead a team that has struggled with consistency? The NFL is littered with stories of backups who became household names overnight. And while it's too early to predict that kind of trajectory for Sanders, the potential is undeniable. Cleveland now finds itself at a crossroads, needing to make choices that will influence both the present and the future. Ultimately, the story of Dillon Gabriel's concussion and the Browns' quarterback situation is bigger than one game or one player. It's a reminder of how fragile the quarterback position can be, how quickly a season can pivot, and how the NFL's approach to player safety has evolved. Teams are no longer willing to gamble on health, and fans are learning that patience and caution, while frustrating in the short term, are part of building a sustainable team. Cleveland's decision to protect Gabriel, to potentially give Sanders a shot, is not just smart, it's the responsible approach in a league where careers can hinge on a single hit. The Browns' journey this season, with all its ups and downs, is far from over. Dillon Gabriel's wreck will be watched closely by every fan, analyst, and opposing team. SHEDEUR Sanders' performance, whether he starts or comes off the bench, will also be under the microscope for Cleveland. Week 12 against the Raiders is more than a matchup. It's a test of depth, resilience, and the ability to make smart decisions in high-pressure situations. The team is being forced to confront questions about the future of its most important position, and the answers could define the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. So as the Browns prepare for Sunday, the narrative is clear. Dillon Gabriel's health comes first. The team will proceed cautiously, giving him every chance to recover fully before returning to the field. Meanwhile, SHEDEUR Sanders could get his shot to prove he belongs. The fans can debate and speculate, but the reality is that Cleveland is in a position to be prudent, to experiment, and to plan for both the present and the future. In the end, it's a moment that underscores the complexities of the NFL: injuries, opportunity, and the constant balancing act between winning today and protecting tomorrow. The Browns, their fans, and the quarterback room are all living this story in real time, and the coming weeks will reveal not just who takes the snaps, but who will ultimately shape the identity of this team moving forward. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. It was one of those moments that stop fans in their tracks, that make you drop your phone mid-scroll and rewind, just to be sure you heard it correctly. SHEDEUR Sanders, the rising star quarterback who has been touted as one of the brightest young talents in college football, went live on social media recently. And what he said shook the Browns world. The young signal caller, who has been navigating the tricky waters of expectations, pressure, and a franchise struggling to find its identity, finally let it all out in a raw, unfiltered confession that no one expected to hear. "I'm tired of pretending everything's okay with the Browns," he said, and just like that, the rumor mill was set ablaze. For weeks, insiders, fans, and analysts had speculated about locker room tensions, about coaching decisions, and about whether the Browns front office was actually in sync with the players' ambitions. But hearing it directly from Sanders added a layer of intensity that no tweet or anonymous report could match. He didn't just hint at frustrations, he spelled them out, painting a picture of a team where talent, potential, and passion exist, but where cohesion, trust, and vision seem to be in short supply. His words were not a casual complaint, but a spotlight on the cracks that have long been whispered about in stadium corridors and sports talk podcasts. There was an honesty in his voice, an edge that made you feel like you were peering into the inner sanctum of a team, grappling with its own identity. Fans immediately took to social media to dissect every syllable, every pause, every tone in Sanders' message. Some felt vindicated, having sensed that the Browns' issues were more internal than external. Others were shocked, unable to reconcile the image of a confident, polished quarterback with a player who was openly wrestling with doubt and dissatisfaction. Analysts started speculating about the underlying causes. Was it the coaching strategy that Sanders found stifling, the locker room chemistry, or perhaps a sense of disillusionment with management promises that never quite materialized? The rumors began to swirl faster than anyone could verify, and suddenly, What had seemed like a quiet off-season issue was now front-page news across NFL circles. Sources familiar with the team hinted that Sanders' outburst, while public, was the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, players reportedly had similar grievances but had held back, fearing repercussions or the media spotlight. Sanders, in going live, broke an unspoken code, and that transparency has fans and insiders alike questioning the direction of a franchise that has struggled to turn potential into consistent success. The timing of his comments also fueled speculation. With the season approaching, tensions are naturally higher, but the directness of Sanders' message suggested more than typical preseason frustration. Observers noted the contrast between his earlier interviews, which were always measured and optimistic, and this sudden eruption of candid emotion. It's the kind of statement that makes you wonder what's been brewing behind the scenes for months, if not years. Was it a series of broken promises regarding his role? Was it disagreements over offensive schemes? Or is this simply a reflection of the impatience and ambition of a young talent, unwilling to be held back by organizational inertia? Rumors are now circulating that conversations between Sanders and team executives had already become tense prior to the live broadcast, and that this public confession may have been a strategic move, whether intentional or subconscious, to put pressure on the franchise to act. Social media exploded with reactions, ranging from supportive messages to heated debate. Former players and analysts weighed in, many acknowledging that quarterback discontent is rarely just about performance, it's about culture, leadership, and respect. Some fans expressed concern for Sanders, worried that this level of frustration could impact his performance on the field. Others argued that it was a necessary wake-up call for a franchise that has had flashes of brilliance but rarely sustains momentum. The story spread so quickly that sports media outlets began running speculative pieces about potential trade scenarios, coaching adjustments, and even whether Sanders might leverage his position to influence front office decisions. The buzz was undeniable, and the Browns suddenly found themselves at the center of a media storm they didn't seem fully prepared for. What's particularly intriguing about Sanders' statement is the way it humanizes the struggles of professional athletes, especially quarterbacks. Fans often see them as untouchable, polished, and perpetually confident. But this live broadcast revealed the weight that comes with high expectations, public scrutiny, and a desire to win in a system that may not fully support you. The vulnerability in Sanders' tone resonated with many viewers, creating an almost viral empathy that extended beyond Browns fans. People began comparing his honesty to past quarterback frustrations in NFL history, those moments where a player's public declaration serves as both a personal catharsis and a lightning rod for speculation. What makes Sanders' case different is his timing, his platform, and the palpable tension in his delivery. It wasn't a carefully crafted press release or a rehearsed interview. It was raw, unfiltered, and in real time, inside the organization. Sources suggest that Sanders' teammates were split in their reactions. Some reportedly agreed with his frustrations but felt uncomfortable airing grievances publicly, while others were concerned about the potential distractions this could create for the team. Coaches and executives are now facing a difficult balancing act: how to address a young talent's candid concerns without letting it undermine team morale, or control the narrative. Every action, every comment, every media interaction is now being scrutinized for what it might reveal about the Browns' internal dynamics. Rumors are circulating that internal meetings have been called to address what insiders are describing as a moment of reckoning for the franchise, where leadership must reconcile the ambition of their stars with the structural realities of the team. Meanwhile, the public reaction continues to evolve. Sports podcasts, YouTube channels, and fan forums are dissecting every nuance of Sanders' statement. Headlines range from sympathetic highlighting the courage it takes to speak openly to alarmist warning of possible disruption to team chemistry. The live broadcast has created a feedback loop where media coverage amplifies fan reaction, which in turn pressures the organization, creating a cycle of speculation and rumor. It's the kind of scenario that fuels off-season debates, where opinions clash and theories multiply, yet few have clarity on what will actually change. Every gesture by the Browns in the coming weeks will be interpreted through the lens of Sanders' confession, whether it's adjustments to play calling, personnel decisions, or even public relations strategies. In the end, Sanders' candid revelation may mark a turning point not just for him, but for the Browns as a franchise. Whether it catalyzes meaningful change, sparks internal conflict, or simply serves as a memorable outburst, it has undeniably changed the conversation. It reminds fans, analysts, and executives alike that behind the stats, behind the highlights, there are real emotions, real frustrations, and a desire to win that can't be neatly packaged or ignored. The buzz continues, the rumors grow louder, and one thing is certain: SHEDEUR Sanders has made it impossible for the Browns and the NFL at large to pretend that everything is fine anymore. And as the days and weeks unfold, every move, every word, and every play will be measured against that moment when Sanders, without hesitation, decided to speak the truth on a platform millions could witness in real time. This is more than a story, it's a ripple that could very well become a wave, reshaping narratives, strategies, and expectations for a team long searching for its identity, and for a young quarterback determined to define his own. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!